What's up, NFL fans? I'm Emery Hunt, the czar of the playbook, and don't forget to check out and purchase your copy of our latest football game plan book, Stiff Arming Football Myths. We have these available in both PDF and paperback form.
Gotta get away, gotta get away, gotta get away. Can't get no rest. Work all day. When will I learn?
Welcome to FootballGamePlan.com, where football makes sense. I'm Emery Hunt, the czar of the playbook. Bring you our 2015 NFL Draft Special. We're going inside the war room for the Seattle Seahawks. We're going to take a look at their team needs to see what players could be possible selections to help fill those needs. But first, let's take a look at the upcoming picks the Seahawks have in this year's draft. First, let's take a look at the mock draft rules. Number one, these picks are based off what I would do as the GM of the football team and what I believe the team needs are. And second, these rankings are my own personal rankings, which you can find on our website at footballgameplan.com/NFL draft. And this is not indicative of where I think these guys will actually go in April's draft. First, let's take a look at some of the team needs for the Seattle Seahawks. And I don't think there's a lot of needs on this football team. So that's why you see backup quarterback, backup free safety, and depth along the offensive and defensive line. I do think they can get better in certain areas, but for the most part, it's mostly depth concerns that I have about this team. With their first selection, I went with B.J. Finney, the center out of Kansas State, 6'4", 324. He had an excellent week of practice at the East-West Shrine game. Is definitely one of the better centers in the country and would fit perfectly along that offensive line, maybe even start as a rookie for Seattle. In round three, I went with Tyler Davidson, one of my favorite defensive prospects in this draft class, 6'2", 319. Another one of these guys that had an excellent week of practice at the East-West Shrine game. He's very strong at the point of attack, can play any one of the defensive line positions up front. I think he'd be an ideal fit as a one-tech for Seattle. Staying with the thought of building along the offensive line, I look at John Miller out of Louisville, 6'3", 303. From a physical standpoint, I think this guy would be an ideal right guard as a pro. With their second selection in the fourth round, I went with Stephon Diggs out of Maryland. I like his ability anywhere in that receiving core. He can play on the outside, he can play on the inside. He also helps you out as a returner. I'm a big fan of Ty Smith out of Towson, 6 feet, 195. He fits the mantra of a Seattle Seahawks cornerback. Long arms, athletic, could press, and also does a great job playing special teams. It's easier for people to point out what you can't do than focus on what you can do. And I think when you look at Blake Sims, you see a guy that excelled this season at the quarterback position for Alabama, and his best football is ahead of him. Dean Marlowe out of James Madison is a tremendous talent, a guy that can play free safety or in the slot as a corner. So again, being able to move him around your defense makes him that much more valuable to your football team. Looking at depth at the outside linebacker spot, I went with Jordan Hicks out of Texas. He's your classic run and chase guy. I do think he excels in coverage, which means he has value as a nickel defender for Seattle. Teo Fablugi out of TCU at 6'6", 353 excelled in 2 All-Star games, the Senior Bowl as well as in the East-West Shrine game, and can play left or right tackle, providing tremendous value up front for Seattle. I think one of the more underrated offensive linemen in this year's draft class is Mark Lewinsky out of West Virginia. Did a great job throughout the course of his career and would be a perfect fit along that Seahawks offensive front. Rounding out my Seahawks mock draft is Martin Effetti out of Memphis. Got the chance to see him live versus Temple. He played in a 3-3-5 at Memphis. I do think ideally he can play the strong side defensive end or even inside during passing situations. Again, providing a lot of value and versatility for Seattle's defense. So let's recap my Seahawks mock draft. A bevy of selections, 11 selections total. A lot of talent on this list. A lot of depth was created both on the offensive line as well as on the defensive side of the football. Once again, making Seattle a very strong football team in 2015. And I also want to give a huge shout out to Seahawk fan forums for always showing football game plan support.